Hello and welcome. This is meant to be Friday's video, but we're getting into it now. Today we're going to talk about a collection of sightings that took place over a week. And yeah. Late September, early October of 1903. Multiple sightings of this creature, the Van Meter monster, thus named because it was in Van Meter, Iowa. With that said, let's look at some of these articles and stuff here from the Des Moines Register. Half human, half bat. 1903 visit from a winged monster. The story itself was originally published in 2023. And the 2020 originally published 2013. And it's talking about the Van Meter Festival. But, yeah. Imagine what a smartphone in 1903 Van Meter could have accomplished. Instead of shouldering shotguns and blasting away at an 8-foot-tall winged creature with a forehead horn that cast a beam of light, panicked citizens could have quickly posted a YouTube video. Case closed, monster confirmed. The sketch, I believe it's this one they're talking about. Yeah, because that's supposed to be the horn. Sticks out a little bit and it fires the beam of light. A sketch by Kevin Lee Nelson based on a century-old descriptions of the Van Meter monster. Camping out all night 110 years later at an old coal mine outside of the town where the alleged creature is believed to have lived, a researcher of odd legends is still trying to get a sight of it. Yeah, from what I understand, it had been trapped inside the cave. Not abducted or scooped up by a flying creature, but he had a good story to tell. A legend that was dying out with the old timers, and sightings he will tell at the high school gym. Glimpse of rural Iowa history and lore, the superstitious mindset at the turn of the century oddly mirrors the urgent 21st century trend of Bigfoot hunting and paranormal investigating that populate cable television today. Yeah, everybody's got a hunting Bigfoot or ghost hunting show, it feels like. Not just television, YouTube, TikTok, whatever, man. It seems like they've always got some kind of show about, oh, we do this or we do that. hunt monsters, do this, hunt ghosts. Yeah. Um, let's see. Yeah, it's sometimes called the Van Meter Visitor and sometimes the Van Meter Monster. It's the same thing. Over a series of nights in the fall of 1903, several respected and prominent men of Van Meters reported a half human, half animal with enormous smooth bat wings flying out. It let off a powerful stench and scared the daylights out of them because it moved at speeds never seen before. And it shot a blinding light from its horned head. Shots were fired each time, first by implement dealer U.G. Griffith as it flew across the building tops. The monster shrugged them off like a minor nuisance. The next night, the town doctor and bank cashier Peter Dunn separately saw the creature and opened fire. Dunn even took a plaster cast of the great three-toed tracks, almost indicating it's like a bird. Because mammals, you're usually going to see 4 to 5 toe impressions. So yeah. Birds, on the other hand, you often have the 3 front toes and usually a back toe. But yeah. The following night, O.V. White, reportedly a deadeye with a gun, was awakened from his slumber in his quarters above the hardware store and shot at the creature that was perching atop a telephone pole. This awakened Sidney Gregg, who had been sleeping in a store nearby. Gregg said the monster hopped like a kangaroo. Even the local high school teacher saw it and deemed it some sort of antediluvian monster. Or antediluvian monster. It seems there's never a decent pitchfork and torch gathering crowd these days, but back when townsmen were not averse to taking up arms and forming a posse. Back then, townsmen were not. So to the northwest side of Van Meter they charged, near the old brickyard where J.L. Platt Jr. heard a noise down by the abandoned coal mine. So we've got multiple sightings over this week here. And it's getting the townspeople up in arms. They're like, what is this? Presently, the noise opened up again as though Satan and a regiment of imps were coming forth for battle, according to an article in the Des Moines Daily News on October 3rd, 1903. The monster appeared, joined by a smaller version, so offspring. In a brilliant light, they sailed away, only to return in the morning when the men had gathered to rid the earth of them with their firepower heard far and wide. The reception they received would have sunk the Spanish fleet, but aside from unearthly noise and peculiar odor, they did not seem to mind it, but slowly descended the shaft of the old mine, never to be seen again. But yeah, they go on in here. You can read more about it. They talk about the Van Meter monster, Van Meter visitor. We've also got other articles here. State cryptids, and this one talks about Iowa, the Van Meter monster. Yep, right here in the middle. So yeah. But that's by Medium, and then we got WHO Des Moines 13, NBC. They have an article, Legend of Strange Creature Draws Crowd to the Van Meter Visitor Festival. So apparently they've been holding a festival to remember it. But yeah. Anyway. Now let's go ahead and jump into the cryptid wiki here. 121 years ago, strange creature said to have paid a visit to the small town of Van Meter in Iowa and disappeared down a coal mine shaft. So yeah, 1903, several respected members of the community told of a mysterious winged creature that terrorized some of the town's residents during several nights in the course of the week. Descriptions of the beast suggested that it had large bat-like wings, left a terrible stench wherever it went, and, even stranger, fired beams of bright light from its forehead. You know, being that it's going in and out of a coal mine, it's kind of odd. Because if it's firing bright light from its forehead, it kind of reminds me of a mining helmet with a light on it. You know, as miners would do in a coal mine. Back in the old days, I don't think they do too much of the helmet lights anymore. I'd say they're still available, but they may have other ways to light places now as well. So, this account recalls how several of the locals attempted to shoot the beast, but their gunfire didn't appear to have any effect. Fed up with the menace, a group of townsfolk banded together one evening and pursued the creature to an abandoned coal mine. There they confronted not one but two of the beast, which both turned and disappeared down into the gloom of the mine as the men opened fire, never to be seen again. But yeah. Winged light can be fired from what is almost like a protrusion from its forehead. And it was about 8 foot tall, 7, 8 foot tall, they said. So interesting. And it only appeared in that week, late September into early October. I think it said that they was started in like September 29th of 1903 into early October. So interesting. I thought there was something about blocking off the coal mine afterwards, but I may have been wrong on that apparently. But yeah, um, problem with many of these sightings that are one time or just for a short period of time. It's like these things are hardly viable usually when there's only a brief moment. You know, there's a reason I believe Bigfoot could exist because it goes way back and we're still having sightings. It's been seen all over the world. So there is a likelihood of something like that existing. But things like the Van Meter monster, the Van Meter visitor, or other things, Dover demon. Let's see, what else is there? I would say Mothman, but apparently they're having sightings in Chicago, they say now, so we'll have to hold and say, whoa, and hold judgment on that. But these one time sightings or small period of time sightings, you have to kind of question. It's a good story. And surely something was solved, had been seen, because, you know, respected members of the town were willing to vouch that something had been there. So clearly something was seen. You would think there had been gunfire and everything else, so it's an interesting proposition. But honestly, I just have trouble saying, yeah, it exists, because besides this stretch of time, again, have the festival, have it every year, something to bring tourism, income, you know, celebrate the good stories when you have them. But yeah, otherwise, I don't think it exists. Anyway, with that said, we'll go ahead and end this episode there. As always, Educate thyself. Think, read, study, learn. Someone tells you something you have trouble believing. Ask them to cite their sources. I'll be putting these links and sources in the description box below the video. Boop, boop, boop. Thank you all. I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, later.